The Detroit Pistons moved to 3-0 on the Western road trip. I could not have seen this coming. I don't think anyone could have seen the type of win they had last night. Jaden Ivy, a game-winning 4-point play. What a crazy game. What a great win. We'll talk about all of it in today's episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Let's go.
You are Locked On Pistons, your daily Detroit Pistons podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's the deal? Welcome back to another episode of the Locked On Pistons podcast. Per usual, I'm your host, Kook Hill. You can find me over on Twitter at Kook Hill. I want to thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button. We are 800 subscribers away from 10,000 subscribers. We've been building towards it for a while now. It's our goal by the end of the season to hit 10,000. So please, if you're watching or listening to this, go hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support the channel. Or you can leave us also a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. And today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get on the regular season action with FanDuel because right now new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if you win your first $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com to get started today. Later on in the podcast, I want to discuss, does Cade Cunningham have a chance to win Player of the Month for December in the Eastern Conference? We'll talk about that. And also, some more reporting on what the trade market's going to look like coming up in February. I've had a few of you guys ask, what's it looking like? Where do the Pistons stand? What do you think is going to happen? So I just want to talk about that. That would be a fun conversation. But we obviously have to start with such a great win from the Detroit Pistons against the Sacramento Kings. If you haven't listened to previous episodes, I told you guys during the Western road trip, we would have different timing of our episodes. So that's why this one's uploading late. It's just too late of a game to stay up and record for with work the next morning, so I have to wait till I get back the next day. So I apologize for the random times that this is being posted the following day, but it won't be a thing moving forward just for this trip. But anyways, the Pistons won this game 114-113. They found themselves down by a ton. If you want to be completely honest, the Kings were in sole control of this game for the majority of this game. The Kings were once up by 19, and they had a pretty decent lead in the fourth quarter with a few minutes left. And the Pistons went crazy to end the fourth. They outscored them 37-22, and the Kings only scored twice in the final 3.5 minutes. And despite all of that, they still needed to have some heroics happen at the end of this game to beat the Kings. And somehow, first of all, De'Aaron Fox, he would be running suicide for the rest of his life if I was the coach. But Jaden Ivy hits a corner three, gets De'Aaron Fox in the air on a closeout with about 3 seconds left in the game, gets him up in the air, draws the foul, and hits the shot to win the Pistons the game. Jaden Ivy, incredible shot. He's actually hit quite a few pretty big-time shots for the Detroit Pistons late in some of these games this year in the fourth quarter. He's been a pretty clutch player. And just want to mention this as well. Jaden Ivy, since he's returned from that injury that he sat out a few games from, remember, he started off the season really hot from the field, started to cool off a little bit, then he sat out a few games, 2 games, because of some knee soreness or whatever, and he's come back, since coming back from those 2 games, he's had 20 points, 18 points, 19 points, he's shot 50%, 53% from the field, he's hit a total of 9 threes over the last 3 games. He's shooting around 50% on those threes. So he's playing extremely well since returning from the injury. I wonder if that, he was starting to feel it a little bit over the last few weeks, but he's played extremely well over the last few games, and he hits an absolute crazy, absurd, wild shot for the Detroit Pistons to win this game. Absolutely insane. Mike Brown went crazy in his post-game presser. And as he should. I don't know what De'Aaron Fox was doing. I don't understand why coaches don't foul immediately up 2 or up 3. He said that they were supposed to after the game. I almost thought about kind of turning this into a Kings therapy podcast real quick. Because I don't know what the hell they were doing at the end. And Mike Brown lost his mind in the presser. You want to talk about throwing people under the bus? He got the tow truck out and just kept going back and forth over him. That's what he did. But the Pistons played well enough, obviously, to win this game, especially in the fourth quarter. Malik Beasley went crazy in this fourth. In a matter of like 2.5 minutes, hit back-to-back-to-back threes, all of them extremely difficult shots. Cade hit a three and then also scored on Keegan Murray in the post to cut the lead down. Jaden Ivy went perfect from the field in the fourth quarter as well. Those three guys, Cade, Ivy, and Malik in the fourth quarter. Malik had 9 points, Cade had 8, Jaden Ivy had 8. They scored, obviously, 25 of the Pistons' 37 points in the fourth quarter. Those guys were exceptional in the fourth quarter, and Jaden Ivy hit the shot of his career so far. That was a crazy play. It's not very often that, honestly, I don't know if I've ever seen it, a team win on a 4-point play. Be down by 3, hit the 3, and then be fouled. I haven't seen it in a Pistons game. Maybe some of you guys have, but I can't remember ever seeing that before. So, crazy play from Jaden Ivy. Played extremely well. Malik Beasley showed up and showed out at the end of this game. Kept shooting despite struggling earlier on. And obviously it pays off, and Cade continued to play really well. Cade in this game had 33 points, 10 assists. And you saw in this game why free throws, his ability to draw free throws, and the refs giving him a fair whistle, why that is so important to the next step of his career. The next step of his development, that has to come along. Because you look at the box score, he shot 9 of 24 from the field. That's 37%. Real quick, before we keep going, I did not know that Cade shot that poorly from the field until after the game. It didn't feel like that watching the game. I thought he was having an efficient night just from the field, but apparently not. I did not notice that until after. But anyways, he shot 39%? 37% from the field. Shot 4 of 11 from deep. That's actually fine, 36%. But when you shoot those type of numbers, usually in Cade's career, you have an awful night, tanks your efficiency. You just don't have a good efficient night. However, because he was able to get to the free throw line 12 times, and because he was able to get there 12 times and make 11 of them, he ends the game with 33 points on just 24 shots, which is efficient. He ends the game with a 56 true shooting percentage, which is fine. That right there is the next step of his development. That's what you see all the other stars across the league, what they're able to do when they are having a bad night from the field, when they are having a poor shooting night. They're able to turn some of those shots into free throw attempts, get points on the board, be efficient because you're getting free throws. You don't only have to score well from the field. I mean, look at Trae Young. I have my gripes with Trae Young, but everyone's still worshiping Trae Young, despite the fact that he's shooting under 40% from the field for the year and under 33% from deep on the year. No one's killing him for it because he's getting to the free throw line 5,000 times and he's keeping his true shooting percentage decently high or decent enough to still like him. Like, that's what happens. If you're able to get to the free throw line enough, it masks poor shooting nights and people won't pay attention to it as much. And obviously, it is a more efficient way of playing basketball, and it does help your team a ton. I don't want to come off as like, oh, you damn nerds always ruining the game, even though I think basing everything off of free throw attempts when a lot of it is out of the player's control, you kind of have to hope the ref blows the whistle because you could get fouled, and the ref just says, we're not going to blow the whistle, and now you're just screwed, which is why I think players who rely on just free throws struggle in the playoffs. That's my own personal theory. But, anyways, point of the matter is that Cade has to keep drawing free throws like this. He was extremely physical in this game going to the basket. I don't know if I've ever seen him this physical going to the basket. Like, he was absorbing a ton of contact and just trying to push through guys. And the refs rewarded him with it. So, hopefully this is key to, this is something they're watching on the film for Cade. That, dude, you're 6'7". You've gotten a lot of muscle. You're stronger than a lot of these guys. You have long arms. Just, like I've said, low pickup point, and just be physical. Try to push through guys. And if guys foul you, sell it. And he was doing a better job of selling it yesterday. Ended up on the ground a few times. Flared his arms a few times. Like, that's the kind of stuff you just have to do. I know people don't like to hear it, but you got to do it. You just got to. So, and he did a good job of that yesterday. So that is the next step of his career. He had a fantastic night because he could get to the free throw line 12 extra times. Or he got, what's the shot equivalence? 6 shots. An extra 6 shots, and he hit 11 of 12. That's basically how it works with the free throw attempts. So, had an efficient night, had a really good night, despite having an inefficient night, I guess, just shooting from the field. But That right there is key. It's the biggest part of his development is being able to draw those free throws, even when he's having a poor night, because he can save him, and it really helps the team's offense still. You can struggle from the field and still put up good offense, especially with how he play makes for the team. Another 10-assist game for Cade. So this is a crazy win. The Pistons are 3-0 on this road trip. They have a chance to go 4-0 against the Denver Nuggets on Saturday. I said the goal was to go 3-1. They've already accomplished that. Could they go 4-0 on this trip? It would be one of the most insane things I've seen for the Pistons over the last 7 to 8 years. Never did I think, I don't think anybody who looked at this schedule coming up on the road, all 4 games in the West, against these opponents, Los Angeles, Phoenix, Sacramento, and Denver, if they were to end up 4-0 on this road trip, that would be one of the biggest accomplishments the team has had over the last 6 years. That would be crazy. That would be a pretty damn big statement that they are making. They've already matched their win total from last year with this win against the Kings. They could surpass it before the start of the new year if they beat the Nuggets and also go forward on the Western road trip. I mean, I don't know if they could be riding any higher than they are right now, and it could get even higher if they beat the Nuggets. So this is a really good time to be a Pistons fan over the last week or so. This has been great basketball by the Pistons. They found ways to win, and they have a chance to make it even better come Saturday night. So let me know in the comment section down below how you guys feel about this game against the Sacramento Kings. Let me know if you guys think the Pistons have a chance, if you think they will finish 4-0 on this Western road trip. Again, let me know in the comment section down below or over on Twitter at @KukaHill. When we come back, could Cade Cunningham win Player of the Month? We'll talk about that coming up. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now the resource for individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply for product specific. Disclosures visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rate may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold LLC. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. There's another great way to support the podcast. So Cade Cunningham just won Player of the Week last week. Him and Victor Wembanyama, which was, they were supposed to be teammates. Didn't happen. It is what it is. However, he won Player of the Week last week. And we're reaching the end of December. And is there a chance that he could add another award to his arsenal, which is Player of the Month? Does he have a chance to do so? Well, I think there's a pretty damn good chance he does it. So far, through the month of December, and this is the part that really matters right here. In the month of December, the Pistons obviously are currently on a 3-game win streak, but they are currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are 5-4 on the month, which is big for the Detroit Pistons, a team that wasn't supposed to be that good, that no one thought would be at least this good. The odds were having, what was the over-under at? 23.5, and they're already at 14 in December. So they're 5-4 in the month of December. They could be 6-4 if they beat the Denver Nuggets, so let's stay tuned for that. So his team, he has them winning more than people expected them to. He has key moments against the Phoenix Suns, against the Los Angeles Lakers. He has a game-winning shot. So he has moments in this month. They're winning more than expected. And then also, you just look at his numbers, obviously, which is what matters. In the month of December, Cade is averaging nearly 26 points a game. He's averaging 25.7 points per game. He's averaging 6.3 rebounds a game and 11.2 assists per game. He is the only player in the month of December to be averaging 25, 5, and 10. the only player. That is certainly player of the month caliber. Now, whether he actually ends up winning it, who knows? But this is just showcasing where Cade is finding himself as of late, where he's elevating his game to. We're no longer just talking about, oh, well, can Cade disimprove from the last year? We're talking about, is Cade an all-star? Can he be more than an all-star? He's player of the week across the whole NBA. Oh, could he be player of the month in the NBA? He's elevating himself, it seems like, right before our eyes. As the games, as the weeks, as the days go on, it seems like more and more is coming to Cade. More and more attention is coming to Cade. More and more respect is coming to Cade. More and more comments from his peers talking about Cade are coming on. He's playing extremely well this year. Extremely well. And the thing that should have Pistons fans even more excited about how Cade is playing is that he's not at his peak or even remotely close to his peak yet. There are still things he needs to improve on, like his efficiency. He has to improve on his finishing around the rim. He has to draw more free throws consistently. He does probably need to improve his handle. Like, there are parts of his game that he still needs to improve on that can still get better. And if those things do get better, if he does improve upon them, which I don't think we've seen any evidence to think or to suggest they won't get better. Every single year of his career, he's gotten better. Every single year of his career, he's added something new to his game. Honestly, going back, I was just watching our episode with Ashton, his trainer, from this summer, where he came to the house and recorded the podcast with us, which was super cool of him to do. And the reason why I looked at it, because I had a few people tweeting at me, 6 seed, which, if you don't know, that was like Ashton's like famous saying that he always believes the Pistons are going to be 6 seed. At least the 6th seed, whatever. So I was like, you know what, let's go back and, go to that episode. I was just going to clip it, him saying that, and tweet it out and be like, oh, that's funny, huh? Look, everybody, look at it. But I ended up watching the episode back. And something that, that I mentioned to Ashton in the episode, and that is just evident of Cade, is that each year of his career, he's gotten better. This summer, Ashton talked about adding a floater to his game, adding a runner to his game. And we've talked about on the podcast numerous times how Cade's floater, according to Synergy, is one of the best in the NBA. Now, it is on limited sample. It's not something he's going to a lot. But when he does go to it, it's been extremely efficient for him. Ashton also said on the podcast that what they worked on was his explosion around the rim, and they wanted him to dunk the ball more. They wanted him to have more posters this year. Instead of just absorbing the contact and trying to finish below the rim, they wanted him to try to start dunking more, start dunking on guys, and hopefully that translates to some fouls. Now, the foul part, I don't know if that's translated as much, but you've seen more dunks from him, and you've seen more posters from him, and you've seen him be more bouncy this year than he ever has at any other point of his career. Already this year, he has 11 total dunks. Last year, he had 23. He's already almost halfway there, and we're not even halfway through the season. We're like 30 games through the season. So, you've seen him get bouncier, I guess is the word. You've seen him be more aggressive around the rim. You see his three-point shot developing. You see his pull-up jumper getting better each year of his career. You see him adding parts to his game like a floater. And now you're seeing him give more effort and be much more impactful defensively than he has at any other point of his career as well. What makes you believe that Cade won't continue to improve on these things? It's why I said a year ago, I said throughout the offseason, or whenever I talk about Cade, it's why I've said that I believe in his future so much. Because a lot of NBA players that you come into contact with, that you hear about, that you talk to people about, there's a lot of NBA players that are not self-aware and are too, what's the word? Too, I don't want to say cocky, but like prideful. Too prideful to admit their shortcomings, too prideful to admit where they struggle at and what they have to get better at. A lot of them just don't do it. A lot of them just won't acknowledge it, and they don't get better for that reason. They work on the wrong things. They don't want to address weaknesses, like stuff like that. It's a lot of times why you see, I've mentioned this in the podcast as well, like I've talked to a lot of people in the NBA who have said that the reason why you don't see a lot of guys change their jumpers, or a lot of guys don't, completely rework their jump shots, is because it's something that they've done their whole life, and they're too prideful. They don't want, why am I changing it? I've done it my whole life, and I've made it to the NBA. Why do I need to change it now? No matter the numbers, a lot of NBA players are just too prideful. And you do have to be prideful. You have to be insanely delusional and prideful to make it to the NBA. Like, if you're not prideful and delusional, you can't make it to any professional sport. So you always have to have a level of that too. But you also need to be self-aware. And that's something that Cade and his team are. They know what his weaknesses are. Cade knows what his weaknesses are. Cade knows he has to get better as a finisher. Cade knows he has to draw more free throws. He knows that he has to continue to be better defensively. Like, Cade knows where his weaknesses are. He acknowledges them. He watches film. He knows where he has to get better at, and he goes to try to attack those weaknesses all offseason. And remember, I said that one of the biggest things he had to improve on, most important things, was his pull-up three-point shooting. Now what do we see him doing? We see him taking more pull-up three-pointers at any other point of his career. He's making a higher percentage than any other point of his career. He's one of the best off-the-dribble shooters in the NBA. And that's after struggling as a rookie to even hit 33% from beyond the arc. I think he shot actually under 30% his rookie career, or rookie season. No, 31%, right. So, Cade is playing exceptional. To add on to some more stats for Cade this year, just to show how great he's been playing and to buffer his chances of winning Player of the Month. The players with the most 15, 5, and 5 games this year. Third place, you got Luka at 18. Second place, you got LeBron and Jokic at 20, I mean. Number 1 is Cade at 23. Even in games where he's not scoring the ball efficiently, or he's not getting up enough shots, or maybe he's not scoring the ball like you like him to, he is impacting the game in a variety of ways and constantly filling up the box score for his team and helping the Pistons win more than they have at any other point in their career. He's one of the best playmakers in the NBA this year. It's not just about the East anymore. Look at the assist numbers. Look at the shots he's creating. Look at the points he is creating off of his assist. Look at the points he's responsible for this year. When you talk about points and assist, he's been one of the best playmakers in the NBA. We're not just talking about in the East anymore. Actually, you know what? I'll pull up the numbers. Where are they at? I just tweeted this out. Here it is. Leaders in points generated this year. So points responsible for. Here are the rankings. Number 1 is Jokic at 52.8. Number 2 is Trae Young at 49.4. 48.8 is Giannis in third. And fourth is LaMelo at 48.2. And at fifth is Cade Cunningham at 47.6. He is responsible for the 5th most points per game generated of any player in the NBA. We're not just talking about in the East anymore. We're not just talking about what he's doing compared to his other draft classmates. Like, he's elevating to another level despite the fact that he has so many things that he can still get better at. His ceiling is through the roof. He can still get so much better. So much better, and I'm saying that as someone who's acknowledging he's been really damn good now. You want to talk about his playmaking as well. There's only one other player who has more points generated off of assists than Cade this year. It's Trae Young, 772. A lot of people think Trae, next to Jokic and Luka, is like the best playmaker in the NBA. One of the best passers in the entire NBA, if not the best passer in the NBA. Right behind him, or not right behind him, it's a decent difference, but he's the only player ahead of Cade. Cade has 616 points generated off of assists. He has 621 points himself. Cade is playing exceptional. He's playing exceptional. He's playing great. He's making that step that everyone wanted to see. And in this month of December, he's playing at an even better level for this team. An even better level. So, I think he has a real shot to win Player of the Month, especially if they beat Denver, because he has the narrative going for him now. A lot of people are talking about how well the Pistons are playing. A lot of people are talking about them going 3-0 on this Western road trip. A lot of people are saying, oh, did we sleep on Cade? Is Cade finally popping through? Like, Cade is getting acknowledgement. He's being talked about. If they can beat Denver, I think he has a real shot to win Player of the Month, man. Real shot. So, let me know in the comment section down below, how impressed are you with Cade this year? And do you think he could win Player of the Month this month of December? And what does he have to do? Do they have to beat Denver? Do you think that would get him the Player of the Month reward? Again, let me know. Comment section down below or over on Twitter at KukaHill. When we come back, we got a report from Shams concerning Shams Charania, obviously, NBA reporter, on the trade market, an update on the trade market. And I want to talk about how that could affect the Detroit Pistons and just give you guys an update of where the Pistons stand and what you guys should be expecting from the Detroit Pistons come the February NBA trade deadline. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has so many ways for you to pick up a W, and I love betting on which player will score a touchdown and how many points each team will score. It's absolutely thrilling. I've been using it for a few years now. I've told you guys this over and over and over again. I've used it for a few years. I'm still using it till today, every Sunday, guaranteed. Every NFL Sunday, NFL Monday night, NFL Thursday night, I'm on FanDuel, maybe a little bit too much. Super easy to use, super self-explanatory, but also, most importantly, super fun to use. So just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. So I want to thank you guys again for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. We are free and available on all your podcast platforms. If you haven't already, head to the YouTube channel at Locked On Pistons. Hit that subscribe button or leave us a 5-star review on whatever podcast platform you're listening to this on. That's another great way to support the podcast. All right, so I've had a lot of you guys reach out to me, DM me, comment, tweet at me, whatever. Message me through subtext, which, by the way, you want to be part of the Insiders program. Text the number right below. Number is coming up. It's 313-914-6528. If you want to be a part of the Insiders program where you can text with me one-on-one, you get updates, reports from me, etc., all that kind of stuff. Super fun stuff. A lot of people have been asking me, okay, what's the Pistons situation right now when it comes to the trade market? So, in order to talk about that, the first thing that we have to pull up is the Pistons cap space. Because as we've talked about numerous times, and I've mentioned numerous times, and something that Shams and, who was it Mark Stein that was talking about it as of late? It was Shams and someone else. I hate to not give credit, but it's another national reporter that spoke about the most interesting team. Oh, Bobby Marks, I think it was. Bobby Marks. They were saying that the most interesting team they've heard across the league to watch for at the trade deadline are your Detroit Pistons. And it's not because, so let me explain it before you guys lose it. It's not because you should be expecting the Pistons to go trade for a superstar. It's not because you should be expecting the Pistons to, what would be the other extreme? Trading Jaden Ivy or Jalen Duren or Isaiah, those things, like Isaiah Stewart may get traded. Jalen Duren may get traded. I don't think Jaden Ivey's going anywhere. But the other extreme of, they're going to trade everybody, basically, is what I'm saying. Not saying it won't happen. Not saying they won't trade anybody. But the extreme of, they're going to trade everybody, or, they're going to go for a superstar, that's not why. The reason why the Detroit Pistons are apparently the most interesting team to watch at the trade deadline is because they are the only team in the NBA with cap space. They're the only team in the NBA right now that can just absorb contracts and can take on They can take on contracts and help facilitate 3-team deals. So you go across the league. If you go on FanSpo, if you go on SpoTrack, whatever you do your trade machines, if you're trying to do a trade and another team, they can't take this deal because they're taking on $10 million too much money, you can just send one of those contracts to the Pistons, and they help facilitate, help another team out, get those deals done. How does that help the Pistons? Well, there's multiple ways that could help the Pistons. It just depends on how Trajan Langdon wants to go about it. I think the main way that everyone is kind of expecting, and it goes back to what Trajan said in the offseason, which is take on a bad contract for future assets. Trajan Langdon has made it no secret that he wants to have future assets. He's made it no secret that this team doesn't have any future assets, and he would be correct. How Troy Weaver rebuilded for 4 years, and not only did he not gain any future assets, he also partially locked up one of the Pistons' own future assets. So it's truly historic stuff to do, rebuilding for 4 years and not add any future assets and actually end up partially not losing, but partially not even having control of your own asset. Truly remarkable stuff. But Trajan Langdon's aware of this, and he understands that you need to have assets to go get players, to go make trades. And that's something that Trajan is interested in doing in the future, in the long term, to help take this team to the next step. You need assets. So the most popular way is that the Pistons will take on a bad contract for maybe a first-round pick. or maybe multiple second-round picks. Or maybe if the contract's so bad, or maybe if the deal needs to get done so badly, a team's so desperate, maybe you get 2 first-round picks, whatever. Like, that is, I don't think that would happen. 2 first-round picks would be pretty extreme. But basically, that's the idea, is that the Pistons probably are going to take on a contract for additional assets long-term, eat that money, and now they have additional assets to play with. That is, I'd say, like, by far and away, like, the most likely option that the Pistons will be doing at the trade deadline. And I can almost guarantee it will happen. The Pistons will be a part of a trade at some point, because there's too many teams that are in the second apron. Too many teams that are in between the first and second apron, can't really move around as much with the salary cap, and need teams to take on that salary. The Pistons are the only team that makes it happen easy. They're the only team where they don't have to worry about setting contracts back. They don't have to worry about eating on another contract to, they don't have to match salaries with this. The Pistons, you just dump the contract onto them and they help it. They help you get the deal done. So it's almost guaranteed the Pistons will make a deal. The other thing that the Detroit Pistons could do, and this goes to the report that we saw today. I tweeted out, I wanted to hear from you guys. Which of the players from these teams would you guys be interested in? Let me know in the comment section down below. But according to Shams, the Bulls, the Nets, the Raptors, the Trailblazers, and the Wizards will all be big-time sellers at the trade deadline. First thing I want to make clear is that that's 4 Eastern Conference teams, so that goes back to what we talked about a few episodes ago, where the Pistons might be forced into making a decision because they might be forced into the play-in. Like, they might be forced into the top 9, 10, 8 of the conference because so many teams at the bottom are just blowing it up. But nonetheless, those are teams that are straight up selling at the deadline, trying to move off their guys. The other thing the Pistons could do is that if they see a player from one of these teams that they think really could help, they could take on one of these guys without having to worry about matching contracts now. They don't have to match exactly. They would be able to give a smaller contract in return for a guy on a bigger contract. If they want to take on it, if there's a team that's trying to get off a guy on a long-term contract that maybe the Pistons think could help them, and the Pistons are the only team that really could just offer them, well, not the only team, there's other ways you can do it, but the Pistons could offer them just immediate cap relief. And that could be a big selling point for some of these teams. So there's multiple ways the Pistons go about it. I don't expect the Pistons to be going out shopping for a superstar. Like, that's not what they're going to do. But they will utilize that cap space to either take on future assets or to take on a guy that's maybe on a more expensive deal that team doesn't want to pay. That still could help the Pistons at a premium position, and they can just take him on for salary cap relief. And, the team gets immediate cap space, and the Pistons get someone that they think could really help them at a position of need. So let me know, again, Bulls, Nets, Raptors, Trailblazers, and Wizards are all expected to be big-time sellers. So is there any team or any players from those teams that you think the Pistons should be interested in? Let me know who you guys think those are. Comment section down below or over on Twitter at @KukaHill. That's all I've got for you guys today, though. Thank you guys for making Locked On Pistons your first listen of every single day. Free and available on all your podcast platforms. Hit that subscribe button on the YouTube channel. Leave us a 5-star review, whatever podcast platform you're listening to us on. And until next time, I'll see you guys later. Stay safe out there. Until next time, peace out.